Welcome back to another episode of 54 Yards. What are we on, week 13 already, man? Feels like we just started, man. Season needs to slow down. But here we are, back with another episode of 54 Yards. Hope y'all have been enjoying them. I hope y'all look forward to them, your weekly sports show. But we're here again, none other than say Cam this time. I need Cam Parlay lately.
No, you need to say Cam Parlay because, as you guys know, this episode is powered and presented by Outlier Bet, the smarter betting tool. Make sure to use our
It is
link
presented by that, but you know.
Make sure to use the link in our description for a 7-day free trial. Get your bets in, and obviously we're gonna have some short form content for you guys. This weekend we're gonna do. I don't know if we'll do write ups, but we'll have some props. We're gonna have a couple videos on, like some different types of slates, overs, unders, money line, underdogs, things like that. So make sure you guys are following us on the socials. Stay tuned in for that. But yeah, it's week 13. There's a lot going on in college football. Super excited for week 13. And, there's some big games, some really big games for some teams that need wins and need some resume builders, if you will, for some of these playoff contenders. So, I guess I'll jump it off. So Steve writes the outlines, as you guys know, and he has Oklahoma and Alabama on here. Coming off a bye week, Oklahoma looks to play spoiler at home to an Alabama team that needs to win out to have a shot at the SEC championship. Alabama's coming off a blow-off win against Mercer. And then obviously, as I mentioned it in the week after, and then, the previous week after, coming off that tough loss to Missouri was a tough loss. So we need to win this game to become bowl eligible, this or the LSU game. Both are, tough opponents. But, I really do feel good about this game. Britt Venable's wife was just diagnosed with cancer again. So, I think the team's going to be playing hard for him. There's a lot of seniors on the team, and Danny and Billy and Woody, Ethan Downs, that are kind of key contributors on that defense that I think are going to play well and show up. Oklahoma actually ranks really good at what Alabama's offense is really good at, which is running the football. We're second right now in the whole country in stop efficiency on run plays. So obviously, that factors into it. So at home, got Jackson Arnold, maybe hopefully, a week after that after that loss to Missouri, can kind of have him calm down a little bit, play a little bit better football, cleaner football at home. Obviously, it's against Alabama, but the competition isn't anything we haven't seen. I mean, we played Ole Miss this year, Texas, some other teams, so Tennessee. So it's not like we haven't seen this caliber of team on the field. It's got to go out there and execute on offense. And then, if you guys listen to our week after, I kind of named some keys of victory for us to win, but I'll go more in depth on those. Offensive line has to play really well. I think I'm really impressed with Logan Howland, one of our young guys. But this will be a different, kind of challenge going up against Alabama's D-line. Really good D-line. They don't really have that guy in the past that screams first round NFL all-world defensive player. You can kind of see the drop-off from the guys that left under Saban's regime to the transfer portal and things like that, and then under Kalen DeBoer. Not saying they don't have the great defensive players or the athletes, but they're, not as talented as they were on that side of the ball, and that's been showing. This is an Alabama team that has to score a lot of points to win games and kind of get us some shootouts. But you can beat them if you control time possession and limit explosive plays and things like that, which is what we do, at least on the defensive side of the football. Xavier Robinson isn't redshirting. He's actually going to play in this game, and he's
I saw he burned his red shirt to play in this game.
He's been a bright spot, and he's a guy, honestly, with his talent, from what I've seen in these small sample size of games, he's a guy I don't think will need his red shirt. I think he'll be able to probably play in the NFL if he stays healthy relatively soon. He's got prototypical size and just a good running back. Catches the ball really well in the backfield. Really reminds me of Samaje. Very similar player, just big running back, can catch the ball better than you would expect him to, things like that. But we're going to have him back. We're going to have Sawchuk back, who hasn't played in a long time. We're also going to have Farouk playing. He's going to have some limited snaps. He's not going to play a ton, but he will be back in this game. So we're going to have more offensive players. Hopefully that keeps Jackson, comfortable with the football, and he just can't turn it over. That's all it is. Like, it's, and the sad part about it, it hasn't even really been picks because he hasn't even been throwing the ball really. It's been him fumbling it. So it's like, if you're going to turn over, I personally would rather you just throw picks. At least you're pushing the football, trying to make plays, as opposed to, holding on to the ball too long, running, getting stripped. Like, I think that's worse. But, excited for the game. It's against Alabama. It's still Alabama. I think the crowd's going to be into it. They're going to be loud. I think they're going to show up, and it is senior day for a lot of the guys. So I want, them to get sent out properly, especially people like Danny and Billy who came back for this season and it didn't go the way they wanted it to. And those are two NFL guys that could have been in the league right now. So I hope the crowd shows up for them, and, excited to see what we do, primetime kickoff. So should be fun.
Yeah. Obviously I want, y'all to do the Lord's work and, knock them off, but it's going to be tough, man. I was thinking about it yesterday. I don't know if I necessarily, want to say it right now. I kind of want to save it for later, but I'll save it for later. But going into this game, it won't be easy. I think I think it's gonna be a blowout. That's just me. Obviously, it's senior day and whatnot. Hey, that's just me. Okay, I'm not saying it because y'all are bad. I think
insider. Then ain't gonna be a blowout.
That is fun. You can have all the insider you want. At the end of the day, the insiders aren't on the field. It's the players that are on the field playing the game.
We haven't got blown out. The only games we've literally got blown out in is one where we had 3 fluke turnovers. Literally the craziest thing ever against South Carolina, and then against Texas. But the game really wasn't a blowout. We don't turn the ball over twice. Y'all don't have a 18-point lead going in a half. So,
and that is completely fine. That doesn't mean blowout isn't going to happen.
We're at home. We didn't.
I understand that.
Tennessee, a team that beat Alabama, we didn't get blown out against Ole Miss. We had the lead on the road going into halftime. I don't know. You got to come with some more. You got to come with some more concrete evidence than just what
it doesn't. You don't need concrete evidence to say, "Oh, I think there may be a blowout." There's no. You thought Georgia was going to blow out Ole Miss, but they didn't.
You think they're going to beat us by more than 13? We're not getting beat by more than 13.
I think they beat you by more than 13.
Okay, we'll see, bro.
We'll see. And like I said, it has nothing to do with just like talking down on y'all. It's just what I think is going to happen. I think this is a team that is. Fine, I'll just say it right now. I think this is a team that you don't want to play in the college football playoff. I think this is a team that actually is going to win the championship. I think this is a team that's finding their footing right now at the perfect time and is a dangerous team to play. That's what I think.
For sure. I get what you're saying. I just think we match up well with them, especially on the defensive side of the football. Like, all you got to do is make Milroe play QB. Our defense is substantially better than LSU's. And once you do that, like, he's prone to kind of shell up.
Well, I don't know. It's a different.
It's not different.
It's a different game because it just started from like him running the ball and it just continued with him running the ball. There was never a time where he had to play quarterback, so we never got to. We've seen him play quarterback, but I don't know. I just feel like he's been in a lot of big time games. He's been here before. He's done this time and time again. He went to Tennessee already this year and played. He played against LSU on the road. He did get shut down.
Yeah,
but I'm saying he's been in these situations before.
For sure.
He's been in the playoffs multiple times, like he's.
No, I get it.
I think they're just the most dangerous team in America right now. I think they're finding their footing right now.
Them and Georgia.
I think if they played, I think they would beat Georgia. That's just me.
They already did, but I'm just gonna say
no. I'm talking about like right now. Like, I don't understand they played at the beginning of the season and that game was insane. But saying right now, if they met up, I think they beat Georgia.
It just depends on the Carson Beck you get. Because, he threw 3 picks in that game and they still barely lost. True. So, if he only throws 1 pick in that game, they barely lost. They
did barely lose. But it's like all these other games where the teams come back and barely win. It's like the game is already – those 31-7 at halftime,
Well, they took the lead, though, at one point is what I'm saying. I'm pretty sure Georgia –
No, they took the lead, and then what they do? They came back right and scored, and then they stopped them, and that was the game.
Yeah, I know, but it factors. They were down
the end of the day, they still
Very
won.
consistent.
Yes, they did come back, but
Yeah.
um, I think that they're fighting their footing right now, and it's kind of a dangerous team to play.
That's
And
a
I
good.
think
Yeah.
I think this is a team that you want to avoid in the postseason if you can. And I meant to also ask you if they went out, they're in the SEC championship, right? Georgia's done
Yeah, Georgia's done. So they'd have to, if they went out, they go because Georgia they have the tiebreaker on
over.
Georgia.
Yeah,
But that's why I said if y'all lost, then it would be Georgia, Alabama, I think,
yeah.
or Georgia. I
No,
don't know.
no,
I don't
it would
know.
be
It's
A&M.
Tennessee.
It would be A&M Alabama.
Oh yeah, yeah. A&M Alabama. No, to A&M Tennessee.
No,
Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Tennessee beat Alabama. How many losses?
We're gonna find out
Yeah,
right now.
Tennessee beat Alabama because Alabama has 2 losses. Or no, Alabama has 1 conference loss. They lost to Vanderbilt and who else?
So it would be
Yeah, they lost to Vanderbilt and Tennessee.
well, no,
Alabama.
it would be A&M Georgia
Yeah, I don't
because
know. I don't know.
they
I don't
beat
know how accurate
Tennessee.
that is.
I mean, these are the
So,
current standings right now.
I know, but like they're all have the same record. Like if A&M were to beat y'all, they would obviously go. Then Texas would
We
be
would
everyone would have the same. Yeah, everyone would have the
yes,
same
but it would be
record.
Georgia because Georgia beat Tennessee.
But Alabama beat Tennessee.
No, Alabama
Or
lost to
Alabama beat
Tennessee.
Georgia. Alabama beat
Alabama
Georgia.
did beat
That's what I'm
Georgia.
saying. Like, so how are they going to determine that? They're all tied. They all have the same losses and they all beat each other. Alabama beat Georgia.
I mean, I wonder if we
Georgia
can.
beat Tennessee. Tennessee beat Alabama. So like, who would go? There's got to be some like additional.
Yeah.
That shit is crazy.
Yeah, it is. Look for.
There's no like outright. Yeah, scenarios. Is it a 2-way tie for second place, or there's another one? I think a 3-team tie, 3-team or more tie for first place, but there's not going to have that. So it's gonna be 2.
Wonder if there's like a.
Shit, that was good. I thought.
Well, this is just like I want to see if if A&M wins, this has to happen for certain teams to make
I
it.
got you. I got you.
Scenarios. I want to see like scenarios.
Yeah, let me see if I can find something on
Do
Twitter.
I sound robotic in here? I'm picking up some robotic. I don't know if they can hear.
Nah, not to me.
Let's see here. I don't know if there's any scenarios, but that will be interesting. Which I already think A&M's gonna win. We already know this, but I let's see.
Oh man.
Now, as it appears, A&M winner and Alabama have the inside track to Atlanta, as best we can tell. First tiebreakers head to head. If one team beat the other, that's easy. Second tiebreaker is a team record against all common conference opponents. Third tiebreaker is a team record against the highest placed common conference opponents. In the standings, there are 2 more tiebreakers steps before the league responds to a random draw. So I guess it is Alabama and A&M.
Yeah, I found something on 247. It says, yeah, I mean Tennessee can make things much easier in the SC office if they beat Georgia instead. Tennessee hangs on the wins over Alabama's a statement victory. That could be enough to push the Vols into the playoff. Atlanta, however, is unlikely. Georgia Bulldogs 8-2. The Bulldogs beat Texas and Tennessee, but lost to Ole Miss and Alabama. No team faced a tougher schedule than the Bulldogs. That's why I feel like they might get the benefit of the doubt. And then obviously, if the Aggies win, they go. But if they lose, it says Texas A&M's situation would be the most sticky if the Aggies lose one of their next 2 games. And then for Texas, Steve Sarkisian's team goes to the SEC championship if they beat Kentucky and A&M. Basically went out, finished the season 7-1. They only have the loss to Georgia, but sounds like if y'all lose, eliminated. Alabama, sifting through various SEC tiebreakers, Alabama's wins over Georgia and LSU means the Crimson Tide win most, but the loss to Tennessee does stand out. Like Georgia, Alabama's played an extremely competitive schedule. If Texas beats Texas A&M and it leaves 5 teams with 2 losses in conference play, the winning percentage of the Crimson Tide's common opponents with others in the mix should get Alabama to Atlanta. So it does sound like they are the favorite if they went out. And then last but not least, Ole Miss losses to Kentucky and LSU means the Rebels don't hold any tiebreaker scenarios unless they were to finish in a single team tie with Georgia after beating the Bulldogs head-to-head this month. Ole Miss is likely a playoff team at 10-2, but getting Alabama is too far in the weeds. Or Atlanta is too far in the weeds. Okay. Well,
So
that
sounds like 3 teams control their destiny.
Yeah.
A&M, Texas, and Alabama.
Yeah. Yeah. So all those teams went out, then 2 of the 3 obviously will go.
And Alabama just has Jaw and Auburn.
Yeah.
And Auburn has a tough game this weekend, and they can.
Yeah, I mean,
do
Auburn
the Lord's work as well.
They can eliminate A&M this weekend.
Yeah, they can eliminate both of them.
Yeah, we could eliminate. Yeah, we can eliminate.
No, I'm saying Auburn can eliminate Alabama too if Alabama does beat which I think will happen. But
yeah, Alabama's gonna blow us out, but Auburn won't. They won't blow out Auburn. Crazy.
No, it's gonna be.
No, that's not how it's gonna work.
No, it's different because it's a rivalry game. Look at last year.
They're worse than us.
Yeah, but look at last year. The game literally came down to the last play of the game. Alabama was losing that game. If they did not win that game, they were not making the college football playoff. They had to win that game, and it came to literally the last play of the game by Mr. Bond, who is now on our team. But they threw like a 50-yard pass to win the game back in the end zone, 60 yards, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I would.
It's different,
I would agree with you. We were on the road, but we're at home. It does make a big difference, especially that they don't go to Norman. That's gonna be a factor.
But
it's gonna be cold, like. That help. They don't play in cold weather. A lot of that stuff is in our favor. You got to look at it all.
I don't know. I mean, 60 is not that cold.
It'll be colder than that. It'll probably be in the 50s. I'm thinking.
I don't know. We'll see. I personally think
we should wager that.
You want to bet on your team?
I'll bet you. We're not getting.
It's still a bet.
We're gonna cover. I didn't say we're gonna win, but we're not getting blown out, bro.
We'll see. I don't know.
Matchups do well. All football is about matchups,
for sure. But just it's the thing again. It's what I said on our past episode. You have to show me. The offense has to show me. Yes, y'all did it against Ole Miss.
The defense has shown you all year, though.
Yes, I understand that. But once they score, can y'all score? Once they score again, can y'all score again to make it a 7-point game?
We did it against Ole Miss.
Okay, but that was one game. What happened when you played at Missouri? That's what I'm saying. Like, you did it one game, yes. You did it one game, yes, but, like, your offense still went backwards against Missouri. Like, the offense that was against Ole Miss versus the offense against Missouri was completely different.
I mean, yeah, I guess. We still ran for, 180 yards.
That's fine. You're not going to run for 180 yards on Alabama.
Yeah, you are. Their defense isn't good.
That's better than Missouri's.
Nah, it's about the same. If you look them up, statistically, they're about the same. They're about the same. And Ole Miss's defense is better than Alabama's. We did it to them. That's all I'm saying, man.
All right.
All I'm saying.
We'll see, but I don't know. I just don't think it'll be pretty. But hey, I want y'all to prove me wrong. I want y'all to money line OU. That's what I want. Okay, that's what I want to happen. You know me? I like chaos, and I don't know if that helps us if they lose, but that's what I would like to happen. Okay, so I want money line OU, but I just think something differently.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because was it 13.5? What is it now? Let's see.
It hasn't moved.
It hasn't moved. It's still at 13.5.
Yeah, if anything, it might go down.
That's what I'm saying. What is it at now?
It's still at 13.5.
Yeah, still at 13.5. So on to us. Our senior day, forever many seniors that we have. We got Kentucky, as my dad likes to call them, Kentucky. 2:30 kickoff, 78 sunny. We're a 20.5-point favorite. Over under 47.5. Money line negative 1,600. Coming off a tough road win against renewed rival Arkansas, the Longhorns are closing the season with their last home game against the Kentucky Wildcats. Kentucky this year has not had the success they envisioned, with transfer quarterback Brock Vandagriff having a lackluster season and the Wildcats going 1-5 in conference play. Were they second to last, I think?
Yeah, they're not. They're them two are the worst teams in the.
Yeah.
But they have a great win. They're one sole win in the SEC.
to Ole Miss, which was surprising. Which they also could have beat Georgia, but we didn't get to watch that full game because that was UFC Noche.
I watched most of it. I was watching that because that was crazy.
Yeah, it was at UFC Noche, I think.
Yeah.
When that game
It
was.
the Spear, yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't really get to watch the game like that, but they could have won that, and then you're like, oh, maybe Kentucky isn't that bad after all. And then they beat Ole Miss, like, oh, maybe they actually aren't that bad after all. And then it just came, downhill after that.
I mean, some of those losses are Vanderbilt's better than we thought. Florida is not bad. Auburn isn't good, but like Tennessee, like your schedule's pretty tough. I mean, they play Georgia, South Carolina, Ole Miss,
and the only reason this game was like close-ish is because this is a game Nico went out.
Yeah, and it's they play them usually tough every year. Kentucky does plays Tennessee, but
in-state rival? No, that's not in-state.
No, they're just close.
They're close.
Yeah, but I mean, I think Kentucky will. I think they'll play all well.
I think they play us well, and I think it's going to be one of those. It's going to just be one of those games where we don't. It's a low scoring first quarter. Start picking up second quarter, third quarter. That's just kind of what we.
Yeah, well, that's a good. I'm glad you brought that up because CJ Vogel, y'all's reporter guy, he put out a good tweet or interesting tweet. I thought yesterday.
Send it to me.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it. Hopefully,
or book it, mark it on the if you're on the OP Sports page. Or I can look it up on the OP Sports page.
Yeah, I just gotta send it to you though because it's basically
he tweeted it.
Yeah, basically.
Let's see, I'm on his page right now. Yeah, how long ago?
23 hours ago.
23 hours ago. Oh yeah, 4 hours ago.
It's a quoted tweet, 16, and then you can click that. Yeah.
23 hours ago, right here.
Yeah.
Kentucky's D in the first quarter versus SEC opponent: South Carolina 7, UGA 0, Ole Miss 7, Florida 3, Vandy 7, Auburn 0, Tennessee 0. Average of 3.42 points allowed in the opening quarter in SEC play. UK ranks 15th in the country in first quarter points allowed at 2.7. No opponent has scored on them twice in the first quarter all season versus Kentucky.
Yeah.
Somebody said, considering how slow Texas has started, I'm not sure how much this stat matters. What? A team that doesn't allow points in the first quarter versus a team that doesn't start strong in the first quarter is very much a storyline.
Yeah, and then he also tweeted 23 hours ago. He said 24 points should be enough to defeat Kentucky. The Texas defense is too good, too sound. What I'm really hoping to see Saturday is a quick start in the first quarter. 10 or 14 points early to force Kentucky to play catch-up plays right into the strength of the Longhorn team. Yeah, and I mean, yeah, I just thought that was an interesting stat because y'all do have a tendency to start slow, and they have a tendency to, play really good defense in the early part of the game. So it's like, what if this game is a 7-0 at halftime, 10-0 at halftime? Yeah, the Texas defense is really, really good, but that's still too close of a margin.
Yeah.
At halftime and especially at home. So I just thought that was interesting.
I mean, maybe because if you look at some of his other tweets, the points that Kentucky has held to similar opponents like Ole Miss and Tennessee, Georgia, like the points that they held them to were very low. Mm-hmm. So I think it's if we beat them by 20, what was it?
20 and a half.
20 and a half. We beat them by 15 to 20 points. That's a major W considering what they did to all these other opponents that they already played, like holding them to minimal points. Now, I think they're just kind of in the same boat as y'all where their defense is good. It's just on the field so much where, I mean, you're just going to get scored on at some point. You're just going to be tired.
Yeah, no doubt. And their offense is this, like, our offense has a ton of injuries. Theirs has a ton of injuries, and they just don't even have, like, the caliber guys. They had like really good receivers, but I mean, I don't even know what's happened to them lately.
I don't know.
And, it's the team that's fighting for bowl eligibility as well. I mean, they're 4-6. They got to win out to make a bowl. So like, they're going to be.
And us in Louisville, who's the in-state rival.
Yeah, and they're going to be. They're going to show up. Like they're going to show up. It's a well-coached team. It's a Stoops coach team. Like I'm sure there's an added layer to that, even though he didn't coach at Oklahoma. It still feels good when the Stoops family can get a W against a Texas team.
Yeah.
And They beat Ole Miss. They've been on the road against Tennessee. It's a battle tested team. Played Georgia, took them to the wire. So,
Yeah.
I feel like they'll
It'll be
show up.
good. I mean, like I said, I think it'll start slow and it'll pick up and then just kind of take off
Yeah,
second
I
half,
agree.
third half. But it's similar to like Ohio State, like they just start slow and then like we always say, Ohio State's always down 7-0 to start and then you look up and there's 28-7,
Yeah,
43-7. It's just kind of like that's kind of where we're at.
yeah.
Which obviously that has to change going into the playoffs, but even against A&M or whatever that means. Um, yeah, I mean, I expect us to win. I'm gonna go against the spread and say we don't beat them by 20.5. Just, I mean, they have a great defense, and compared to what they've done to all these other teams. Um, Also, the big thing is, which I think we all kind of know the answer,
Hmm.
but is this Quinn's last game at DKR?
Yeah,
That's the other thing that's been being asked, and Sark probably knows the answer too. Obviously, he's gonna say he doesn't know because it's Quinn's place to say if he stays or if he goes. But
mm,
um, it'll be interesting to see what he does because he has fallen down the draft board quite some I guess some picks, but I don't see him coming back. I don't see why he would come back, and if he
I mean,
does stay, I
it's no, yeah, it would not be good. I
also
think
feel like if he does stay, he's transferring.
for sure he would go somewhere like Ohio State.
Yeah, you go
uh,
rekindle that.
but nah, I think he's for sure leaving. I think you know the NFL scouts. I've seen him fall out of the first round, but I think you know how it is. Like it happens every year. There's guys that fall out, and then people kind of forget about the film and what was put on the field, and kind of get wowed by the combine and him making these crazy throws and things like that. And they're like, oh, duh, Quinn's always had an elite arm throwing against air. Like,
Yeah, and then on
but
pro day, it's like
yeah,
it's just him versus him. So his footwork's gonna be phenomenal. Like he doesn't have to, evade
exactly.
the pocket or any of that. So everything's gonna be crisp.
And he's still a high ceiling guy. I mean, I'm not saying Sark's obviously an offensive mastermind, but these guys in the NFL, you mean, even if he does fall, like him going to a team like the Rams,
That'd be great.
super dangerous. Sean McVay is a guru. Like, you don't got to start right away. Stafford seems to still have a couple of years. Like, learn from him. Like that. If I'm Quinn, like falling out of the first round isn't bad, or getting drafted late isn't bad. Like
Yeah,
you want to go to a good situation. You do.
yeah. I mean, even then, like to be a backup at the Chiefs,
Yeah.
like to be
Even
there
then,
to be coach under Andy Reid,
get developed and then
like
get traded or
yes,
something.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So like,
Yeah.
I think he goes, but I mean that was a question that has been asked: is this his last game at DKR? So I guess it is kind of senior day for him. So it's probably in his head, and he probably knows that. So he might show up just because of that.
Yeah. I
So,
agree.
um, but it'll be interesting to see what he does. Like I think everybody's kind of leaning him towards leaving, which isn't a bad thing. Like I said, we're in good hands with Arch. So maybe this is his last game in DKR. So hopefully he leaves a good mark on that turf out there and goes crazy. And we do cover the spread. So forgot about that. But next up, how do I CJ tweeted this, I believe. Go back to him. Who is your favorite to win the Biletnikoff Award as it stands?
Yeah, the stats are crazy. I mean, you obviously have Tatori McMillan, who, in my humble opinion, I thought it's been wide receiver one all along. He's this prototypical 6'5", 212 pounds. I'm pretty sure he probably is a 4.4 guy. That dude is super fast for his size. So, I like him in the race. He's obviously got a ton of yards. His team isn't winning, but it's not his fault. He's obviously producing. Trey Harris as well. Very, very, very explosive wide receiver. He's also a big guy. I didn't even know he was 6'3" myself, 210 pounds, almost 1,000 yards. He's been hurt too. So he would have more yards, more production, 6 touchdowns. Ryan Williams, obviously the freshman sensation. 40 catches, 767, 8 touchdowns. He's averaging almost 20 yards a catch. Dude's an explosive deep threat receiver. I don't think he's going to win the Biletnikoff this year, but I definitely could see him winning it his third year in college. He'll win it at some point, especially.
Maybe. He got to go against Jeremiah Smith.
Yeah, and it's also, I think, like the next couple years with DeBoer, they'll have like a QB more like fit, like that's like more for his system. I think Milroe is a good QB, but I think DeBoer is like, since he's a good coach, I think he's like orchestrating the offense through Milroe, because it's like, obviously he's a great athlete. It's like, let's not make him have to do stuff he doesn't need to. Let's run him and do stuff like that. So the Xavier Restrepo, I think, he's super good. I mean, I think he's like all-time leading receptions leader at Miami now.
It's either receptions or yards. I think it's yards.
One of the two. And he broke a record. I mean, he's been there a long time, but a great receiver. He reminds me kind of like a Ricky Pearsall of last year's wide receiver class. Like not that big of a guy, but definitely fast, great hands, runs great routes. Definitely will be I think he could be a day one guy in the NFL, but he'll probably go like day two. Just this class is a little deep, but he's good. You obviously had Ja'Cory Brooks, 57 catches, 945 yards, 8 touchdowns. Good receiver out of Louisville. He's also another big dude. Don't think he'll win the Biletnikoff, but he's really good. Nick Nash. Now, this dude's putting up a ton of yards. It's obviously in the Mountain West, so you know how Carlos feels about those Mountain West guys. But almost has 1,300 yards, 14 touchdowns. But he's super old. He was a converted quarterback to wide receiver. He's like 24, 25 maybe. I think he's like Dylan Gabriel's age. So it's
super senior.
Yeah, so he's pretty old, and he's also one of those guys where it's like he'll get a shot in the league, but his age is going to really hurt him when the draft and stuff comes around, especially for wide receiver. Like, there's so many young guys that are doing what he's doing, if not better. Like, you're going to get those guys, but he's good. I don't think he'll win it. Maybe he gets invited as a finalist. Now, we're down to two interesting guys. Travis Hunter is the first one. 74 catches, 911 yards, 9 touchdowns, 12.3 average. Like, that's insane. What would his numbers look like if he didn't play defense? And obviously, we know he doesn't miss snaps on either side of the ball. So it's not like he's not getting the production because he's not, getting the snap count. But it's like he's also not as fresh as some of these guys. Some of these guys are getting rotated in. That's the only position they play, things like that. If Travis Hunter, maybe was only a wide receiver, how many more yards would he have? So that's very telling. And then obviously you have Jeremiah Smith, another freshman sensation, 49 catches, 865 yards, 9 touchdowns. I think his production's there. I think he'll be a finalist for it. But yeah, I'm excited. If you had to pick a final, I don't know how many finalists go. I think it's 3.
I was gonna say, I think it's 3.
But if you had to pick 3 from this list, who would you pick?
I'm probably gonna go with probably McMillan, Harris, and Smith. Me personally, I want to lean towards Trey Harris. I mean, obviously you can't overlook what McMillan's done, but he has 10 less catches and 300 less yards. The average is about the same, and he's been hurt, and he's putting up identical stats.
And he's in the SEC.
And he's in the SEC. I want to lean towards Trey Harris. McMillan's balling, but I mean, Big 12 this year has been kind of lackluster of defenses. But Jeremiah Smith, just with the receiving core that they have over there, and him still getting those targets and yards, it's kind of crazy, especially since he's a true freshman starting over there. We have Mbuka and so the cat's name, the one they've been throwing to a lot recently.
Carnell Tate.
Yes, Carnell Tate.
Another 5-star.
Yeah. Ridiculous. But I'll probably pick them 3. If I was to take somebody off, it'll probably be Jeremiah Smith and put in Xavier Restrepo. Just because, I mean, he's been going crazy as well. And he went crazy last year. He was a 1,000-yard receiver last year as well. So for him to probably get another 1,000 yards this year, I mean, he's only 60 off. He can get that easily in one game. I think I'd probably have him in there if they aren't going to give it to Jeremiah Smith.
Okay.
But I think Trey Harris wins the award.
Okay. Yeah. I'm in agreement with you, actually. I think Trey Harris does win the award. I just think what he's done at Ole Miss, and then Ole Miss also being a playoff team, really factors into it. Obviously, there's other playoff caliber teams on the list with Miami, Alabama, Ohio State, and Colorado. But don't think they're going to give it to Travis Hunter because one, it would be insane if he won the Biletnikoff, Thorpe, and Heisman. Like that would be
Yeah,
insane.
that's the only reason I meant to bring that up. That's why I didn't add Travis Hunter, because I think he's going to win the Heisman, and I don't think he's going to win like all these awards because you got can't give him all the awards.
You gotta spread the love. Like sometimes it's like the only time like a QB wins multiple awards is this QB will win like the Heisman, obviously the O'Brien Award because it's QB, and then the Maxwell, which is also like the Heisman, but it's just the best player in the country. It's not as prestigious as the Heisman. But yeah, bro, I think Trey Harris. And then if I had to take 3 or 2 others with him, I would probably take I'm probably going to take McMillan. You got to take him. And I think they take Jeremiah Smith. I think Travis Hunter doesn't get the invite because I just think they're going to kind of like factor in some of these other guys a little bit more just to kind of spotlight them. But yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously want to throw Travis Hunter in the mix, which he might make it over Xavier and Jeremiah Smith just because of the name alone, just to bring in more attention to the show or whatever. People. Yeah. So he might make a way in there as well. On to the next, man. I'm tired of talking about this shit, man. Tired of talking about this, man. Where's their website? God. College football playoff is here, Cam, and it's been annoying as always. Even with 12 teams, it somehow still some way ends up annoying for us. As you see here, we got 1 Oregon, 2 Ohio State, 3 Texas, 4 Penn State, 5 Indiana, 6 Notre Dame, 7 Alabama, 8 Miami, 9 Ole Miss, 10 Georgia, 11 Tennessee, 12 Boise State. The next 2 out, SMU, BYU. I'll stop right there since we're only going 12.
Yeah.
But we'll obviously go more into depth. But these are your next college football rankings. Obviously, the first 12 get in. The next ones are out are going to be BYU and SMU at 13 and 14. SMU being 13, BYU being 14. I don't know, man. I think there's just I don't know if there's a correct way to do the rankings or the playoffs. I think the correct way is just legit just have to put the 12 best teams. That's the legit best way.
Yeah, and that's the frustrating part because that's always what it was supposed to be. When the 14 playoff came out, it was always supposed to be the 4 best teams. Now they got away from that because last year, Georgia had last year was a little different. There was multiple like situations why they didn't make it. But like even Georgia, it's like they lost an SEC championship game last year. Were they still one of the best 4 teams in the country?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. But they didn't make it, right? So it's like you have situations like that, and the committee just is very contradictory to itself.
Yes.
It does certain things, but then like another team will have a similar component or resume, and then they're like being harped on. Like I saw
like Texas.
Yeah, like I saw
all right, we'll say Texas and Penn State, right? Penn State is in the clear. Penn State's going to the playoffs. Right?
Yeah.
But their schedule is horrible. Their schedule is horrendous. Let's look at their schedule. The one team that they played, they lost to. Who'd they play this weekend?
I'm about to send you a tweet.
So they played West Virginia. Horrible. Bowling Green, almost lost. What are they in?
They're in the MAC.
They're in the MAC. You love that MAC football. Yes. Kent State. They played Illinois, beat them 21-7, which Illinois has dropped off. UCLA, horrible. USC, they were losing, then they came back and win. I'm going to say that they're horrible as well. They blow fourth quarter leads left and right. They just don't have a great team. Wisconsin, their starting quarterback got injured out for the season, and they've been playing with the backup all season. Still an okay team, but not great. Ohio State lost. Couldn't move the football. They scored on a pick six, and that was the only touchdown. Played Washington. Again, not a great team. They're good. I mean, they're a good team, but it's not like anything to be bragging about.
Mm-hmm.
Purdue, and they got Minnesota, Maryland. Like, look at that schedule. And they're gonna say they're in because they're 4-1 and all this and that. Then you get to Texas. It's like, oh, Texas hasn't played anybody. Who the hell has they played besides Ohio State? We played one good team. It was Georgia, and we lost just like them. But we're getting harped on for not having a good schedule. But look at this schedule, and it's like our schedule is better than that.
Yeah,
they played 2 ranked teams. We played Michigan, who was ranked at the time. Oklahoma, who was ranked at the time, Georgia, Vanderbilt. We're gonna play A&M, who's gonna be ranked. Like, those are 5 teams that they played 2.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's just annoying.
Yeah, I mean, I sent you a tweet, or I retweeted a tweet on Opinionated Sports, so you should be able to pull it up on Twitter. You got our profile.
You know me in these
on the left, top up to profile at the bottom on the left.
Oh, see, hey, I'm new to the social media thing. All right, guys. Updated my draft.
Yeah, scroll a bit. Two. It's like a couple. Yeah, yes. So it has the strength of schedule via ESPN, and the numbers underneath it are where it's ranked out of all the teams in the country.
Which I feel like this is a lie. 24. They've played literally nobody. How is that 24?
Because Notre Dame is good.
Yeah, so but that's going to take it that much.
Yes, because Notre Dame has a better record than Georgia, so that's going to take it up, and then LSU is up there as well. I don't know who else have they played. Is that it? Those teams?
But LSU's
Notre Dame being a playoff lock right now is probably why it's so high. But it's not that much higher than y'all. It's just 24.
No, but if you look at their schedule, it shouldn't be that high. Who does LSU play this weekend and what time? They're at home,
LSU
right?
Plays
no, they're on the road.
They play Vanderbilt. No, they're at home. They play Vanderbilt at home. You just type in A&M.
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna look at well, who are you talking about? Because I was gonna look at LSU.
A&M. You're talking about A&M because their strength of schedule is 24.
Oh,
and that's what you're asking,
so.
Oh, they beat Missouri too, so they
but
Missouri's still ranked. Which
no, they're not. Are they?
Yes, they are. Yes, they're 23.
What the hell?
So that helps them right now.
Okay, but Missouri is horrible, and they've literally played nobody.
They're still ranked. That's why it's high. I'm just telling you why. It's why it's 24.
I don't know, man. They played them. They played McNeese. Then they played Florida. Then Bowling Green, Arkansas.
They played basically the same. They played on the same teams as y'all, besides South Carolina and
Georgia,
Auburn.
Alabama, no Ole Miss, no Tennessee,
Missouri. Yeah, y'all played, but they played everyone else. Y'all played Arkansas. Y'all played Mississippi State. The common opponents are the same,
and we beat the common opponents better. I'll leave that at that.
Yeah, I'm just saying, their schedule is tougher. Yeah, that because of certain reasons.
But we all know that Missouri should not be ranked, and Missouri is horrible. We all know that. Yeah. That's not this. This is why I don't know.
I mean, you just got to be.
This is the problem with the playoff rankings. Is that stuff like that?
Yeah, but I mean, they're not ranked high.
They're not ranked high, but it helps. It helps A&M in that sense because they are ranked when they shouldn't be ranked.
Yeah,
that's the issue.
But the committee's still ranking them appropriately. That's not determining.
You think they should be? You think they're the 23rd best team in the nation?
I'm talking about A&M.
Oh no! Well, I was talking about Missouri.
Missouri. I mean, no, but when you compare it to the rest of the country, I mean, yes, their losses are to Bama, South Carolina, and A&M. All those teams are also ranked. So that's why I can see why they are ranked. Do I agree with it? No. I think Iowa State is a team that should be a little higher. things like that. But like Missouri's losses are to people that are literally in the playoff or contending for the spot. South Carolina could, get in, like they're not awful. They could be worse,
Yeah, I don't know. But it helps. I mean, it doesn't really matter because I personally think they have to win out in order to even get in, which
100%.
I think they have to. I think they win these next 2 games, but I think they lose in the SEC championship. I feel like they have to win the SEC championships in order to even make it in.
Nah, if they win these next 2 games and they lose the SEC championship, I think they would go still.
Maybe, I don't know. It'll be tough because
it depends. I just feel like they can't for that.
Yeah, I mean, yes and no because
like they made it there.
Like,
but they just can't do that because it's gonna deem that championship irrelevant. You can't just punish a team unless they have like 3 losses like LSU did. Then okay, if LSU loses and then they have 4 losses, that's a lot different. But A&M has 2 losses. I feel like they can make it in with that.
So do you still think they make it in if they go to the SEC championship and get dogged walked by Alabama?
Probably not. If they get if they get beat up by like 30, no. But if they lose, then it is what it is. Like it's a neutral site as well.
Because you would rather have A&M go than Tennessee. That's just what I look at it.
I agree, and I just think it varies. Yeah, I mean I agree.
And that's like the
when they lose by like 1 possession, I feel like they deserve to go still.
Yeah, but that's like the issue that I have is just like it just needs to be the 12 best teams. That's what it just needs to be. Yeah, whatever you watch, whatever you look at, it's the 12 best teams. However you want to determine that, it's just too hard to throw the strength of schedule in there. Just because you can't help your schedule's your schedule. You can't help that. It sucks, but you can't help that. We can't help that Greg Sankey gave us a schedule and nobody was ranked.
So if it's
we don't get to pick and choose that.
For sure. But I mean, it is.
And we help ourselves by scheduling harder opponents at the beginning of the season.
The thing that I don't like with the Texas fans is
I'm talking about just for everybody.
I know, but even just I get it's annoying.
I think Penn State
went out. You go
for sure, and that's what I'm tired of talking about. We just got to win out, but it sucks because we're not going to. We're gonna lose A&M. I don't know how many times I have to say this. Like Penn State, for example, right? Yeah, it sucks. Penn State has this easy schedule, but they're not the 4th best team. But they should probably be in the playoff. Like that. That's what I have the. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Like Alabama and Georgia shouldn't be punished for having to play each other. Those are 2 top 4 teams in the nation. And they're ranked 7 and 10 because they had to play each other. Meanwhile, who has Penn State played? And the one team that they did play, they scored 1 touchdown defensively.
Yeah. I mean, but they've also splattered everyone too that they played. So it's outside of that.
But game. You look at Tennessee. Tennessee had to play Alabama and Georgia.
Yeah. I mean, right now the Big Ten has 4 of the top 5 teams ranked.
Yeah, and it's I don't know.
But that's because of the way their schedules are set up. Oregon has beat everyone they played, and then they beat Ohio State.
It's just
Penn State's only lost to Ohio State. Indiana hasn't played anyone yet.
It's somehow, some way, they perfectly got they literally have the perfect schedules.
Well, go back to the tweet so we can see the strength of schedules.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. Oregon 43, Ohio State 28.
Hold on. I don't mean to cut you off. But what would you say is a good strength of schedule? What number and bottom? Where's the cap? Would you say?
I would say top 50. I mean, some of that stuff is hard to determine. Top 50. Because I mean, at the end of the day, same thing with those other schools. They didn't pick their schedules either.
Yeah.
So I think that has to be accounted for. But if you look at it, right, Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State, Indiana, the top 5 teams, all the 3 out of those 4 are very similar. Then you have Indiana, who's in the 106. It's geez, that's going to really hurt them, especially if they're looking at it as strongly as the committee claims they do. But obviously they can right that wrong. If they beat Ohio State, it doesn't matter.
But the committee is also talking about them that they're a lock.
I think they're a lock depending on how the game looks to Ohio State. I do. I mean,
Even
because
if they get blown out, it kind of just seems like they're a
if they get
lock.
blown out, no, I don't think they're a lock if they get blown out. I think they have a chance to still make it, like a high chance, but a lock, no. I think Oregon's a lock even if they lose the next 2 games. I just
Oh yeah, Oregon's locked into the Big Ten championship,
that's what
and
I'm
I don't
saying.
think
So
they lose
even
the
if
next two
they lose to
games.
Washington and if they lose the Big Ten championship, like I don't think that knocks them out. But you got that, and then you got Notre Dame at 82. And their schedule has just always been iffy. I mean, they got that ACC tie-in, which really hurts them. Notre Dame honestly needs to go to the Big Ten. It makes the most sense. It's right there, but that's another conversation for another day.
The heart of the Big Ten, literally.
Exactly. USC, they play USC. Like, it is what it is. I did see in a couple years they got some tough schedules coming up. Alabama, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Georgia. Though I'm gonna talk about those 3 teams, and obviously we just talked about A&M, but I'm gonna talk about those 3 teams or 4 teams in detail because all their schedules are top 30, and a lot of those
Top
teams,
20.
yeah, a lot of those teams that beat each other, right? Like Tennessee, Bama, Tennessee beat Bama, Alabama beat Georgia, Georgia beat Tennessee, Ole Miss beat Georgia, and so it's like when those teams match up, it's pretty much like a coin flip, literally, when they all play. Like, it's not like, they're losing to nobodies. They're losing to each other. So I feel like that has to be factored in there. Then obviously you got the rest of the teams. I mean, look at South Carolina's strength of schedule 8, top 10, and they got a chance to finish out the year 9-3 and go on to your last point where you were like, who are the 12 best teams? If you had to pick the 12 best teams in it right now, I think South Carolina is one of them if they went out. The way they're playing hot football right now, you look at this strength of schedule now at 8, it's like, and you look at their losses, which are to other teams in the playoffs, it's like, how could you not at least consider them as one of the 12 best teams in the country right now if you are if that's what the goal is? But obviously, there's so many politics and things, and that's what I don't like about it is like, at the end of the day, like, eye test, strength of schedule, things like that matter. And they're just having some context. Like South Carolina's in the SEC. It's a lot harder. It's way easier to lose a game, especially if they have a top 10 strength of schedule as opposed to, an Indiana who's 106 or whatever in strength of schedule. And obviously that lost to see, like, that's the thing. They haven't even lost to. I thought they lost to someone in non-conference. They didn't. See, like they all their losses are LSU, which we know
their
about
worst loss.
and we know about that. The Ole Miss one is worse, just because
I'm talking about like just from like team wise.
Team wise,
Yeah, not score wise, team wise.
But like Ole Miss and Bama, those teams might make the playoff, man. Like, I don't know. I just
like you got a team who's on the fringe. I think that you're behind. Yeah, 3 spots that you beat by
24.
24 points.
Yeah. 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 I mean, it's interesting. Like I said, and if they beat Clemson, who's another team, right? Like, I mean, right now, South Carolina has two ranked wins, and then they beat Clemson, they could finish with 3. So it's
just tough because it's like,
I mean, Vanderbilt could finish ranked 2.
Like if they beat LSU,
mm-hmm.
like right now, I guess
that's the one that's hurting them because that's the one that's the game they should have won.
They should have won, but I don't even know if it it wouldn't even count as a good win because they would be 5-5 right now. They wouldn't even be ranked.
Yeah, but it would at least help they would at least be 8-2.
Yeah,
so
8-2. Yeah.
Higher.
Yeah. If I were to make it, this is me. This is my top 12.
Okay.
I'm gonna make my top 12 right now. 1, Oregon. You just have to. They're undefeated. They've done what they needed to do. 2, I'm gonna go Alabama.
Okay.
3, Georgia. 4, Ohio State. 5, Tennessee. No.
Really?
No. 5, Texas. 6, Tennessee. 7, Ole Miss. 8, 8. That's 8 Notre Dame. 9. I'm gonna go 9 Colorado.
Okay.
10.
SMU, Miami.
That's where I'm stuck. Is who I'm gonna pick over who. I kind of want to pick SMU over Miami.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I might go 10.
The Florida
SMU.
win might help out Miami though, depending on
Yeah. Right now I'm gonna go 10 SMU, 11 Miami,
12 South Carolina.
12 as of right now. I'm gonna go Indiana because they're undefeated.
Did you put BYU in there?
I did not. Or Penn State.
Penn State is definitely a top 12 team right now.
They're 13 for me. It was between the only reason I said
They're
Indiana.
better
I was
than
gonna hold on. I was going to put Penn State over Indiana at 12. I was gonna put Penn State at 12, but Indiana's undefeated right now. Until this weekend, they could remain the same. If they play Ohio State better than Penn State played Ohio State, it could remain the same. But since they're undefeated, they haven't lost, and they've been taking care of business and beating the crap out of whoever they played, I'm going Indiana over Penn State now.
So what makes Penn State not be over SMU? Because they are, I think Penn State's way better than them. Like if they play, Penn State would be favored.
For sure.
So I'm just curious.
For sure.
You picked that.
But it's interesting how it's done. But it's interesting how it's done because one of my friends sent me a tweet and it was like if the SEC played some of the Big Ten teams right now, like Georgia's favorite.
I think I sent you that.
No, somebody else sent me that. No, this is a different one, I think. Georgia is favored by 1.5 against Penn State. Like, I don't think that's a correct line. Personally, Georgia should be. I'm throwing everything that I possibly have that I can throw on a game on Georgia if that was the case.
The only thing that would make it like that is that the Penn State would be home. It is hard to play there, and it would be in December. It's gonna be cold.
Yes, but this was just what the games were. I don't know, like what were the locations. This was just what the games were. So yeah, that's gonna be my 12. Some people got left out, but that's gonna be my 12.
Yeah, if I had to replace people, I would replace Colorado with Penn State, and I would replace SMU with South Carolina. If I had to change it up, that's what I would do. Especially if South Carolina wins out. I mean, they're just too hot right now.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
Colorado's hot too. Don't get me wrong. Like they're close, but Penn State, I can't. I mean, Penn State dominates everyone they play. They only lose to Ohio State, and Ohio State is their only loss. And then SMU's only loss is to BYU, which BYU's is not good. I know Jennings didn't play most of that game, so it might look different now, but still got to go with what the results are on the field. So,
and the results for Indiana, they're undefeated and they smacked everybody they played.
100%, I agree.
So I'm gonna put them over Penn State as of right now. That's just right. As of right now, as a week going into week 13, that's where I'm at. After week 12, that's where I'm at.
All right,
but yeah, Texas just has to win out. They got to take care of business. That's just what has to happen. That's the only way they make it in, apparently. So I don't think we make it in, unfortunately. But dang, game's got to be played, and the times will tell on that. And it just sucks too because I keep telling everybody that A&M's gonna beat us. And they're like, A&M's weak. They're not gonna beat y'all. Or everybody says something different about A&M just basically not beating us. And I don't think they beat us because they're better than us. Because I don't think they're better than us. I think they have no offense. Their best 2 running backs are out for the season. Their quarterback play is not that great. They have no elite receivers, and we've played against some great receivers already, and we've locked them down. They have no secondary. The secondary is Swiss cheese, and their best part of the team is the defensive line. I just think they just beat us. I just have a gut feeling they beat us. Not because they're better than us. I just have a gut feeling they beat us. And I've said this from the beginning of the year.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
So, but yeah, playoff committee got to change something. They contradict themselves a lot because they say this is they gave the Tennessee loss to Arkansas a bad loss, but they gave that us as a good win. So that's contradicting itself right there. But I also understand it because who else are you going to give a good win to on our schedule? Which sucks, but it is what it is. But they gave the Michigan win a good win to Indiana, but it wasn't a good win for us either. So I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
But on to our week 13 matchups. We'll just run by this really quick. We'll start off with this one since it's 11 a.m. kickoff. I think the game that everybody really wants to see, if I'm being honest with you, just because people are just curious about Indiana and just kind of want to see where they're at. Oh, that's why. I want to see where they're at. And they got a chance to prove themselves against Ohio State.
Yeah. So that's the game first.
News this week. Ohio State lost their starting center for the rest of the year due to, was it a torn Achilles or just an Achilles injury?
Torn Achilles.
Torn Achilles.
Yeah.
So
hard to come back.
Sucks for him. That was Alabama center last year, who was getting worked in the Rose Bowl, as Cam said.
Yeah, he just was fumbling the ball, like he just snapping it, like
bad snaps. Yeah.
But this game is interesting. Indiana is second in offense in the country, scoring offense, and then Ohio State's first in scoring defense. First in red zone efficiency for Ohio State, 14th and third down conversions. They limit the least amount of first downs, passing yards 160, rushing yards fourth. Elite defense. It stands out there, and Indiana also has an elite offense, which stands out for them. So it's literally going to be what side of the ball makes more plays, what coach has them game plan better, things like that. And I think for Ohio State, they just cannot start slow. I know they have the firepower, they have great weapons, but Chip Kelly can't have them starting slow. Will Howard can't not be executing because this Indiana team can score points and they're going to get theirs. I do believe they're going to get theirs. And if they end up going up on Ohio State, especially on the road, go up 14-0 on the road, it makes it tough. I'm not saying Ohio State can come back. I mean, they got the guys, they got weapons. So it's not like they can't come back, but you don't want this game to turn into a track meet with Indiana because I think that actually favors them. Because I think they would rather it be that way than some low scoring, methodical, grindy, traditional Big Ten game, kind of how Indiana had against or Ohio State had against Penn State. Like that's very defensive oriented and things like that. Wasn't a ton of explosive plays. So it should be a good game. Early thoughts on this. I don't know, man. I really have a feeling that Indiana pulls the upset off. I do. But I also just feel like Ryan Day just cannot lose this game.
I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
If Indiana does win, do you think they jump up to number one?
No.
Because they beat Ohio State at Ohio State.
They won't pass. Yeah, I don't think they'll pass Oregon, but I could see a debate.
If they beat them by more than 3?
It depends on how if they fucking show up and
if they beat by 7. Because Oregon beat them by 3. Oregon beat them by 3, I think.
By 1.
By 1. Oh, yeah. By 1 at home.
Yeah, they'll go up to 1. Or not 1, 2. I think injuries and all that stuff, it does need to be factored in a little bit. I'm not saying like
Devin A said he don't care about no injuries. Next man up. It's Ohio State.
It is, but I don't think they're warranted, and I don't think that'll warrant them jumping Oregon because I mean Oregon went on the road and beat Michigan by 14, and Indiana almost lost that game. Yeah. So yeah, I think they'll go to 2. But for Ryan Day, I think it'll really be telling because you built this roster to compete for a national title. Obviously, you lose to Oregon, who has a similar roster. You lose by 1 on the road. It is what it is. That's not like it's not a terrible loss. Like shit happens. It's tough. You can afford that loss. But I think, if he loses this game, it's Indiana at the end of the day. Like the brand, all that stuff, like it's still Indiana. This isn't no established program that's been winning for a long time. So you can't lose this game. I just think you can't as Ryan Day. You got to win this game. And I think Indiana, I like their coach, man. I mean, he literally said, Google me, I'll win. And he's been winning. And I'm excited.
That's a hard bar right there.
Facts.
Google me.
And I want to see him against a big time team like this that is built. Ohio State is built for matchups, built to play Texas, Georgia, Alabama. That's how they construct the roster to get in the playoffs and play these championship caliber teams and beat them. So I'm excited to see where Indiana matches up and how much the coaching can kind of equal the talent discrepancy on the field. But right now, early thoughts, I don't know who to lean. I think Ohio State's going to win, but I do have Indiana covering.
You know me, man. I like the upsets, and I always go upsets every week, all season long. So give me Indiana money line, man. I don't care if I'm wrong or right. I just want to see the Warriors win, man. We like the upsets over here. We like to see the underdog stories. They like to see the Cinderella stories. So I want them to win. And I mean, I guess depends on who you are. This could be a spot to either get in the playoff or you're eliminated from the playoff.
Yeah.
So you got a lot to play for in this game. I think if you keep it close, you lose by 3, lose by 7, you're probably still in the playoff because it shows that you can hang with a high caliber team. But if you get slaughtered, I mean, I think you're just kind of out.
No doubt.
You know me, I love the upsets, and I want Indiana to win this game. So I'm going Indiana Hoosiers, boy.
All right, sounds good.
Next, we got Steve's upset alert.
Man, he stole that from me.
Did he now? He stole 2 things from you then.
What else he steal?
The underrated game of the week.
Well, I didn't show him that, but I sent it to you. So and there's receipts.
Yeah, and he stole that from you.
Yeah.
But then Ole Miss Rebels at Florida Gators, who are hot right now. And at the beginning of the season, we thought the Gators were down, man. We thought, it's a horrible season. Billy's on the hot seat. Billy got to win. And they start turning things around a little bit. Got a little 5-5 action here. Got to win one, make a bowl game.
They're going to beat Florida State.
So they got to be Florida State. But, obviously you don't want the 6-5. You want the 7-5 or 7-5. You want to look better than
6-6. Yeah.
Yeah, 6-6. So, you got upset.
You got upset. I said they're on upset alert. Do I think it happens?
Do you think it's because of DJ? Is that why you go on upset alert? Or do you think he's that talented?
That, and I just think the team is actually a lot better than people think. Like, I think, since they have DJ and a comparable offense, the defense has been okay. Like, for after the Miami game, it's improved. And they have players, it's still Florida. Like I told you a couple weeks back when y'all played them, it's still Florida. So it's they still got the guys, they still got the talent. I think Ole Miss, they came off an emotional win against Georgia. Them having that bye week was super crucial for them, because I think if they would have not had that bye week and played Florida right away, they really would have been in danger coming off that emotional win, things like that. But I think the bye week probably had them settle down and things like that. And I think they're going to be ready to go. I do think they win. But I think the game's going to be super close. And if I'm a betting man, I'm taking that Florida 10.5. I think that's just too many points. I think Florida keeps it close, and especially that they're at home and it's early.
You're a betting man.
Yeah, can't parlay, man.
So I think Trey Harris is actually going to play this game, because he suited up the last 2 games but didn't play.
Yeah,
I think he's actually going to play this game. But it's at the end of the day, it's still a hostile environment, and I think a lot of fans still want to see DJ Lagway, so it's going to be a packed house. Mm-hmm. I think they're hot. It's weird to say, but I think they're hot right now. Even though, they did get spanked by us, but DJ was not in, and they just beat LSU. So, I think they're kind. I don't know if hot's the right word, but I think they're on the right path. I'll say that. I think they're on the right path, and I think they can make some more chaos. And if Ole Miss loses this game, I mean that everything's just out the window. Which I mean, I guess it's off topic, but
Yeah.
say if Ole Miss loses this game, like, you think even if we lose to A&M, we're still out?
No, not if they lose, because you start eliminating some of those teams from the SEC. That, however, it does open up more leeway for the ACC, maybe the Big 12, maybe the Big 10 for sure. But like, it does open up some spots. So I mean, yeah, I mean it's gonna hurt though. Ole Miss, I think the Ole Miss can't lose. I think if they lose, they're out too.
Yeah, they're done.
They got to win out. It's a
So
playoff game.
this is for them, yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like I said on the road in the swamp, packed house. It's not easy to play there. Other teams have kind of struggled there a little bit this year. But I think with DJ being the quarterback and is getting better every game that he is playing, you just kind of already can see what he can do. I think it says a lot about what's in the future for the Gators, and I think they want to keep that positive train going. And I think I'm gonna go with the upset here, man. Lincoln, him too, but Lane Kiffin is suspect to, losing these games. He's got to win, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the upset as well.
Yeah, I think hopefully we'll see, man. I mean, this is
Sucks because like you look at this stuff,
he would lose, bro.
yeah,
This
it
is the type of
is.
game
It
he would
is.
lose.
You look at this stuff, and a lot of this stuff is out the window right now for Florida, just because of the way they're playing right now, and then with DJ being the quarterback.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I need these people at Vegas to keep hammering Ole Miss, man. Move that line up a little bit for the sharp bettors.
10.5, yeah. Next on the list is Kentucky, Texas. We already talked about them. So we're going to go into another game that I think is kind of I'm going to give my upset alert here, Cam.
All right, tell me.
We're going to go on to, what's on the game? 2:30. We're 11, 12. I know I could just type this in, but I'm lazy, man. My hands on pocket is warm. Here we are. Penn State at Minnesota Golden Gophers.
Yeah, this game should be. It should be. I'm curious because Minnesota isn't bad, man. They're really not. They're 6-4. They're scrappy.
Some people close.
They're a scrappy team. They play good defense. So I think I think all in all, like Penn State's a team. Like I probably would stay away from this game if I'm betting, to be honest. Like at least the spread. Like Penn State's the type of team that would cover this. They're also the type of team that would like have this be close.
Yeah.
And PJ Fleck, is a good coach. It's 230, things like that. So, I got Penn State winning. Probably not going to touch the spread or anything like that, but
they're not a bad team, and it's not. It's not that it's not. It's easy to play there, but they just hold the ball and just play good team football, and that's like the scary part. And they have let's see, actually, doesn't say they have. They have a good defense. Yeah, they have a good defense.
Yeah, it's really good, bro. and like Penn State's offense.
Penn State is,
but it's not. It's better,
okay,
but it's not.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it is better. I mean,
it's better than what is last year.
It's top 50 in passing and rushing.
It's better than what was last year, but it's not like
top 50 in scoring too.
It's not jump off the charts type of offense. It's not. We're gonna get the score up on you quick. It's slow. It's they do hold the ball, I think, a little bit as well.
Their tight end is so good.
Yeah, their tight end is good.
The dude's really good.
So I think this is gonna be a game of clock control. Whoever holds the ball more and just can put some more points up, obviously, is going to win this game.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, like I said, I think Penn State will win, but 11.5. If I'm feeling frisky, taking Minnesota. But I mean, Penn State's just kind of the wild card team when it comes to the spread. They either cover or sometimes they don't. So. Yeah, but that's my thought.
I'm gonna go with Minnesota cover the spread, actually. But I do think Penn State does win, but it's gonna be a close, scary win.
Okay.
That's my upset alert of the week. Next, this was one of Cam's favorite games. That's kind of low key. BYU at Arizona State. Cam's been talking about Arizona State a lot lately. 8-2 overall, 5-2 in the conference. They started off like a team that was like looking like they're not a very good team, but they have turned things around. I was watching that Texas State game. I think Texas State beat them.
Yeah. No. They beat Texas State.
Was it at the end? It was a close
Yeah.
game. Yeah, they threw 2 picks back to back, and
Yeah.
Arizona State beat them at the end. I was looking at that and I was watching that. I was like, Arizona State's really not that great, but they got together. 5-2 in the conference, 8-2 overall, and it's actually I want to see something here, Cam. I guess I should win standings. They need. If BYU loses again, I wonder if they're in.
No. BYU loses. They're off. They're
no,
out.
no. Arizona State. I wonder if they're in the title.
If they lose at BYU, no.
No, if BYU like loses,
Yeah.
is Arizona State?
Yeah, they're in the title.
In the title.
They'd have the tiebreaker.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of implications on this game. The team that a lot of people weren't talking about, and Cam has been big on, is Arizona State. Arizona State wins this game. Sounds like, I guess depending on their schedule, who they end with. Arizona, which I think they beat Arizona. Arizona's just not that good this year, but it is a rival game, so anything can happen. Do you think they beat Colorado?
Who? Arizona State beating Colorado?
Yeah. Getting off, jumping ahead here, but do you think they beat Colorado? No. Okay.
Nah. I mean, Colorado beat the same team essentially last year. Okay. Or the worst team. Okay. So I'm gonna use that as my data point. But no, I mean, jumping into this game, I think BYU. I've been texting Steve back and forth off camera, getting
about BYU,
our outline guy. But BYU they're just not it, bro. Like I've been trying to say, like I just texted Steve this, but this is a team right now in the playoff bracket that would be an underdog against every team in the bracket outside of maybe Boise State, and that game would be a close spread on a neutral field. So I look at that, then I look at the way they got to 9-1. Should have lost to Utah. Should have lost to Oklahoma State. Both of those teams, obviously, while we had picked them to be top contenders in the Big 12, are some of the worst teams in the conference. They also lost to Kansas in their first loss at home, a team that isn't good right now. Obviously, they're playing way better football. They did knock off Iowa State. They did knock off BYU, so they got some quality wins on their record. But still, it's a team that just isn't been performing at the level they're supposed to be. I think Arizona State, they're playing well, got momentum. The coach wants to be there. He's a Kyle Dillingham or whatever his last name is. He is a Arizona State alumni. He knows what it can be at that school. It's in a prime location in Phoenix and Scottsdale area. Heavy NIL. That this could be a jumping program if they have the right coach, right leadership, someone that could. And I think Arizona State, they got to pay him. Regardless, they got to pay him regardless how the season goes out. You want a guy with this China trajectory to stay here that wants to be there. So you got to take care of him. But all in all, I think Arizona State wins, and I also think they cover. I think they win by 2 possessions. I think Cam Scotabo, really physical running back. I think that'll kind of bend on BYU.
The new age Toby Gerhart.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think BYU's been kind of. I think they've been on edge and they've kind of skated by, and I think that finally happened. They finally got cracked, and I think Arizona State sees, a wounded animal. Obviously BYU might, be in wounded animal mode, so they might be very, on their shit. But Arizona State, I just think sees them. They're going to go out for the kill, and they also see that the Big 12 title and a potential playoff berth is in their vision.
Yeah.
So got Arizona State money line.
Yeah, I'm going Arizona State money line as well. I don't think BYU is that great of a team. They have gotten lucky. Should have lost to Utah. Kind of got blessed in that game by the referees, but I mean, on the road, like I said, a lot of implication on the line. Arizona State's up for the challenge, and I think they're gonna. I don't even know. I don't know if I call this an upset, but they're gonna get the upset done.
Yeah, I agree.
Next we got Cam's favorite team that he talked about all off season, Colorado Buffaloes versus Kansas Jayhawks. A
Yeah,
team that is hot versus another team that is hot that has a lot to play for as well. Kansas not so much. Obviously, they want to make a bowl game, but they're hot right now. Um, it's at Kansas, so that does not favor Colorado. Which do we? You can talk about. I'm gonna say, do we know where this game's gonna be at? But I'll find out. At Arrowhead, so it's gonna be at Kansas City Chiefs Stadium again.
yeah. This is gonna be a tough game for Colorado, just due to the fact Kansas being hot. They got to win out as well to make a bowl game. But I think Colorado is in a great position right now. I think this team is well coached, well disciplined. They just got some leaders on that team, and I just think the leadership, not only from Coach Prime, but Shador and Travis and Shiloh down, is really carrying through the team. This team is now they don't have the talent as Alabama. This is a dangerous team in the playoff because I just think the way that it's ran there, the talent that's on the team, they got 2 top 5 NFL guys on the roster at key positions. Like, this is a team that I think, depending on the matchup in the playoffs, they can kind of make some noise and go on a run. Because at the end of the day, the playoffs is all about matchups. And if a team gets upset early, that just opens the bracket up too. So this is a dangerous football team. And I think they're gonna, continue to find a way. However, I do think Kansas does keep it competitive and interesting. So if I'm betting on this, I'm taking the over at 59.5. I like the over here. So
Okay.
yeah.
I mean, I say it in college football. It's any 3 points or less is a pick 'em to me. And that just kind of shows you where this Kansas team is right now. Colorado's been on fire and they've been beating a lot of teams and have been beating them, pretty good. And a lot of people are high on this team, especially after last season. It's a big turnaround. Um, so for this game to be this close, like I said, it kind of tells you where Kansas is right now. I'm going to go Colorado just because I want to see them in the playoffs. I think it'll be pretty cool, and I think that, like as Cam said all season, it'll bring a lot of attention to the sport. So I'm gonna go Colorado. If they win this game, they're in the Big 12 championship because I forgot who they played last, but it's not a good team. Oklahoma State.
Mm-hmm.
Oklahoma State. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm going Colorado. Got to win this game. Must win game for them.
Yeah, I agree. Must win game, playoff game for Colorado. I mean, this is exciting because Kansas is, hey, turn this game on, man. Put it on that YouTube TV. Put it in 4. This is a game you should pay attention to because Kansas ain't no slouch. I know the record might show that, but right now they're playing like a top 25 team.
You got
right
4
now.
good games on at 2:30, which YouTube TV allows you for. You got Texas, Kentucky, Penn State, Minnesota, BYU, Arizona State, Colorado, Kansas, all at 2:30.
Facts.
Do you want to touch on this next game?
We just touched on it briefly. Basically,
I mean, somebody did give a promise.
Yeah, I mean, this is an important game. Shit, both teams trying to make it to a bowl. I mean, both 5-5. Wisconsin obviously they've had a tough year just when their QB went down. Honestly, like this has been the year, and they just fired their OC Phil Longo. So interesting decision by them, but Nebraska, Matt Rule, I think this game's really important for both coaches. Luke Fickell and Matt Rule, they got like this is year 2 for both coaches. Both coaches, I think, need to kind of show that upward trajectory. More so, I would say, for Luke Fickell than Matt Rule. I think Matt Rule has time. Nebraska hasn't been good for a long time, and they've also fired coaches a lot. But now that you just pulled up both their records, that's a little different. I thought I didn't realize both teams have lost 3 or more games in a row. So that is also a huge telling story of, what's going on. So I mean, it's a big game. I still think it's a bigger game for Luke Fickell than Matt Rule. I think Matt Rule has a lot of time. You obviously have Dylan Raiola there. He's young. You understand what comes with playing a true freshman. There's going to be up highs and there's going to be lows, like there's been for Dylan this year. So, but I do think Luke Fickell needs to kind of get this win because I know he's had the injuries and stuff, but Wisconsin was just in a better spot than Nebraska's been. So I just think from a trajectory standpoint,
I think Luke Fickell's fine just because he's been playing with the backup quarterback all season long, and
but Matt Rule's playing with a true freshman.
For sure, but I think a true freshman that's a 5-star has a lot more upside than a quarterback that's a backup that lost to a job to a guy who's been in college forever.
Yeah.
As in Van Dyke. So, but the other thing I look at is Nebraska has to go to Iowa the last game of the season.
Mm-hmm. It's a robbery.
That's not going to be easy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be easy at all.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of have to win this game if they want to make a bowl game. Because Wisconsin plays Minnesota at home, I believe. Yeah, at home for the last game. So I'm going to say even though I picked them to not upset, but a close game with Penn State, I think they're in the clear to make a playoff game ending with Minnesota. I think Nebraska has to win this game in order for them to make a playoff game. I keep saying playoff. Bowl games.
They also was them playing Minnesota at the end of the year is also a rivalry game.
Yes, it is. But Wisconsin has a greater chance to make a bowl game than Nebraska does. So I think Nebraska has to win this game if they do want to make a bowl game.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment. Maybe shit.
Wisconsin
games will be tougher.
It's a pick 'em. I mean, it's a 1.5 spread right here. It's a pick 'em.
I'm going Nebraska at home.
You've been on Nebraska train. I'm going Wisconsin. Right. You know, me and Dylan don't get along right now. So
you're just a hater for.
He has a 55 QBR, Bucko.
I know, but you just hated on him before that. It had nothing to do with
it. Was just everybody was hyping this man up and
he's good.
He has a 55 QBR. What are we looking at here?
His picks are crazy. He's thrown a lot lately.
Yeah, 9 in conference play. He's throwing 9.
Yeah, it's not good.
11 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. That's not great.
Yeah, it's not good.
Not great.
But I think he's gonna be really good next year with Dana.
I think it was just like a mixture of just everybody hyping him up and the mixture of the Mahomes stuff and
that's fair.
And all this stuff and just like.
But I'm also like he's a kid, so I'm just like whatever.
Yeah. But at the same time, you got to create your own identity, kid or not.
Especially as a 5-star.
Yeah, kid or not.
You should have your own aura.
Yeah. So I think it's just a mixture of all that. But yeah, I'm gonna go Scotty Badgers here. I guess this will be an interesting game, to say the least. It'll be very interesting. A team that likes to run the ball versus a team that likes to run the ball. A team that took 12 minutes to score on. Who did they play last?
They played North Texas.
What was it, 12 minutes or something, or 10 minutes?
12-minute drive, bro.
Yeah, to score 6 points.
Yeah. Don't think they'll have the luxury against Notre Dame and doing that. Notre Dame actually plays these teams quite often. They already played Navy early in the year. So they're used to playing against this type of offense. I think they play these teams literally yearly, at least one of the service academies. I think this game's at Yankee Stadium too.
I think it is at Yankee Stadium.
So that's pretty sick. But
you're not a fan of these.
I think I think this is where Army's train comes in, man. I'm gonna be rooting hard for them because I would love for them to maybe get in the playoff. I just want to see one service academy get in the playoff. Like the only time you ever see that is in the
Yankee Stadium
rebuild. That's pretty cool. Notre Dame has like these iconic games at these iconic venues, and obviously you can do this with a team like Army, because it is Army, like it's a national brand. But
wait, so you think they get in if they beat?
Bro, they went out. I would say they're the favorite. If they beat Notre Dame, I would say that's a better resume. They would have a better resume than Boise State. They literally they'd be undefeated with the Notre Dame win.
Because they're 19 right now.
Yeah, I think it would shoot them up.
But
I don't know how much the rankings even matter.
UTSA Navy.
Because like at the end of the day, if they were to win out and beat Notre Dame,
I mean they are a group of 5 school.
That's what I'm saying. If they were to win out and they're gonna play Tulane, I think too. And
they
the champion
would probably play Tulane, yeah.
So it's like
Tulane's 20, so they're
20,
they're right next to each other.
Yeah, so it's like if they beat Notre Dame and Tulane, like even if Boise State wins out, I don't see how you could not have an undefeated a service academy school that has a big win.
Protecting our nation, man.
Not in the playoff. Like they would be the best group of 5 school to me. They would be undefeated too. Like I know Boise State has a caveat as Oregon. Their only loss is to Oregon, and it was by 3 points on the road to the number 1 team in the country. That is a huge boost. But at the end of the day, the results do matter. So you got to go with that. That'd be sick. I don't think it's going to happen though. I think Notre Dame wins the game. But I do think Army covers.
Do you think if Army beats Notre Dame, makes it to the title contention, loses to Tulane, do you think Boise State would get in?
Yes. Because they would have no losses. Well, it depends on what happens with Boise State. Because like these motherfuckers can lose again. It's the best group of 5 team, essentially. So, but Boise State, I mean, Colorado State might be getting ranked here shortly in the future. Because they have 3 losses. 2 of those losses, one's to Texas, one's to Colorado. I don't know who they lost to. The other team they lost to is, but I think they're 5-1 in conference, or undefeated in conference. Right now, it's looking like a collision course between Boise State and Colorado State playing for the Mountain West title. So that could help Boise State if Colorado State is ranked. Which if they win out, I guarantee. You know how it is. Like they're gonna be like, oh, these teams are playing for a group of 5 title. Let's just rank Colorado State just to rank them so it looks good on TV. But man, I don't know. That would be a crazy dilemma. Unfortunately, I don't think it's gonna happen.
I think they get dog walked here in Yankee Stadium.
I got Army. I do got Army covering, bro. I just think the time of possession. Yeah, bro. I mean, the time of possession, bro. I just think it.
Yeah, but the thing is, they're not going to be able to have the time of possession because Notre Dame is just going to stop the run.
Yeah. But maybe Army is better than Navy at running the option. But we did see what Navy did. I mean, Navy kind of hung in the game for a little bit.
They just had turnovers.
You were watching it more than me.
Yeah, they just had the turnovers. I mean, if they can eliminate turnovers, maybe. But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see, man.
We'll see. I mean, they are first in turnovers. They have 0.3 turnovers. They allow 0.3 sacks. They're first in sacks on offense, too.
Because they don't throw the ball.
Yeah. First in QB hits, 0.3. They're second in tackle for losses.
That is kind of crazy. The tackle for loss number. That means they literally they run. Wow. I'm watching this. Oh, dude, they play the same time we do, man.
You got the YouTube TV, man.
I know, but it's when we're on, I'm locked. You know how it is.
Yeah, I usually just watch us when we're on. I have 4 up, but I have the volume on Texas. Yeah. But I'm watching Texas.
Shit, I have us full screen, and then when it goes commercial, I go to the 4.
So, yeah. But yeah, it'll be interesting, man. I would love to see an upset, obviously, and I think would you say it would eliminate Notre Dame out of the race?
No.
Okay.
Not yet.
There's
just because they would have 2 losses. This would be a quality loss because they are ranked and they're undefeated. And then you also got some stuff that could factor in. You got some. I mean, the SEC.
They're already at 6.
And there's also just teams that could lose here soon. Like Georgia could get upset by Georgia Tech. Y'all could lose. We could beat Alabama. Alabama could lose to Auburn. Like Tennessee could lose to who do they play?
Just say the current teams went out. Do you think they stay in the top 12? I don't think so. They're already 6. They saw what they did to Alabama. I mean, Georgia after they lost to Ole Miss. They dropped all the way to 11.
Yeah, probably not if the current teams went out. I would say no.
So that pass yards 85.
Yeah, I'm betting QBs.
You gotta go with the under, right?
Yeah, if he's on Prize Picks, man, you got to take that under.
Yeah,
No lie.
I wonder what did they have like 6 p.m. It's gonna be 46 there, but both these teams are probably used to playing in the cold zone, but still 46.
Yeah,
And then
safe.
they're the defense. They're third in rush defense at 82 a game, and they're
Yeah.
32nd in pass defense. But again, they're playing Notre Dame, so I don't know how much these stats are gonna matter. But it'll be fun to watch. I'm definitely going to be tuned in. My team will hopefully be over and have won the game by then. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to pick here. I'm gonna go Notre Dame to cover the spread just because I'm just gonna say that their defense will stop the run, and I think they will score points on Army.
All right, there you go.
Alabama, OU already covered that, and then last but not least, probably the most important game. Well, I don't know if it's the most important game, but it is a very important game. For A&M, I for some reason I think they're overlooking this game. I could be completely wrong, but I do think they are overlooking this game, and I do think this is a very
That's what you want to happen. You want them
no, or the what's the name already slipped up. There's no way they're not looking ahead at Texas. I'm gonna say there's no way they were not looking at. I was just about to say that. I was gonna literally say that, and you cut me off. There's gonna say there's no way we're not looking away to A&M.
No, because on the week after you said
I did say that, but I know as the game does get closer, I'm like, okay, we probably are looking ahead to A&M. But I will say this: I wouldn't be surprised if we're not looking ahead at A&M. That's just the type of team we have.
That's fair.
But I do think they're looking ahead at us.
That's fair.
So this is it's not an easy game, man. I mean, at nighttime over there at Auburn Tigers,
Man,
War Eagle, sure, the place gonna be scary.
Yeah, I mean,
Place gonna be scary.
The good thing these teams have a history of each other. I don't know.
I know you want to go with the upset.
Nah,
I know that Jordan Harris Stadium scares you, Cam. Not because y'all.
Kip Lewis is still running in there, but dude, I don't know, man.
It's all right. This is gonna say two things. One, this tells you how hard it is to play there. Two, this kind of tells you that A&M doesn't really have an offense. The spread is 2.5.
Yeah,
it's a pick 'em.
I just think Peyton Thorne going Peyton Thorne, bro.
You think he throw them Piskies?
Yeah.
You think them Piskies finna happen?
I think A&M's defense is just too good, and Mike Elko and the way they're coached, I just think they cause havoc. And I think the way A&M is built to win games is running the football, and I think they do.
Their best two running backs are out. Both out for the season. One went out against wasn't South Carolina? Le'Veon Moss. He tore his ACL against South Carolina. So it's like Daniels or something like that. I think his last name is Daniels. Amari Daniels. So EJ Smith and Amari Daniels are going to be their two running backs, and obviously Marcel Reed is also going to run the ball. But interesting thing though, I did see that I can't remember his first name, but Owens, their starting running back, that was a 5-star. He was listed as doubtful instead of out on the SEC report, and all these other games he's been out. Now he's listed as doubtful.
Dang.
Ruben Owens says out for season, but on the SEC report, he got listed as doubtful. So interesting right there. But yes, Le'Veon Moss and Ruben Owens out for the season, the best two running backs. Shout out Jaden Henderson. Don't know what's going on with him. Questionable undisclosed injury. But yeah, I mean it's I don't know. When y'all played them, how good was their defense? I haven't really watched too much on Auburn.
That's not great. It's okay. They don't really do a ton of stuff. It's very basic, but it's also hard to really assess that because of how bad our offense is. Now other teams, They're a solid team. Like they're solid. I would just say they're solid. Like rush defense is good, but I mean they're solid. They're like middle of the road. Like I said,
Maybe that's why, because their rush defense is good, and A&M doesn't. I mean, not that they don't throw the ball well, but they don't 200 yards a game throwing is not great. And then with their running backs being out, I could see that this 212 yards is dropping a bit. So that could be the reason why it's going to be a close game, and that's why Vegas has it like that. It'll be interesting though. I mean, obviously, you know me, man. I need them to do the Lord's work, please.
You didn't even lose.
I need them. Hey, I'm a War Eagle fan this week. Come on, this shit. Maybe next weekend too against Alabama. War Eagle, baby. Come on. I need your boy to channel his inner Cam Newton / what was the other dude's name? The one that threw the ball, bounced off the helmet. They caught it.
Nick Marshall.
Nick Marshall, yes. I need him channel. Saying enter Nick Marshall and Cam Newton here. But it sounds like you got A&M money line, spread, everything. You're an Aggie.
I have no. You're an Aggie. I have A&M money line, and then I have the under.
I'm not an Aggie. I just call it how it is for all my teams.
Under 46.5.
If y'all haven't learned by now, I'm not that biased. Okay.
This is looking like a 20. This is looking like a 24-10, 21-10 type of game.
Only give them 10 points. And War Eagle fans, you better come for his neck. I better see you on the comments saying, "Hey,
take that under." You guys will see it here soon in some videos. So take that under, man.
I mean, hey, you already said it. I guess I'll go with it. Underrated game of the week. Cam, you sent to me at the beginning of the week. Steve, I'm sorry, you're late. But Sam Houston State at Jacksonville State. It's a big game for Cameron here. He listed this as underrated game of the week. Steve also had another one, Western Kentucky versus Liberty. But both of y'all said this game, so we're going to go this game.
Yeah, Jacksonville State versus Sam Houston State. These teams are at their top 4 right now in the CUSA. Jacksonville State is number 1, sitting at 7-3 overall, 6-0 in conference. Sam Houston State is tied for second at 7-3 overall, 5-1 in conference. Shout out to Sam Houston State too. This is also their second year being at the FBS level. So the fact they're already competing for a conference title in year 2 is really impressive. But put this on here because I thought this was interesting because I'm looking at the group of 5 spot. These teams aren't ranked, and I don't think they're going to get in there. There's just too many contenders. Boise State, Army, Tulane don't really look like they're falling off a cliff. But say they start falling off a cliff. And if one of these teams is, sitting pretty at an undefeated record or in conference and, obviously they have their losses, do they get a chance to be thrown into the discussion? I don't know. But it's a good game. I watched Sam Houston State once on TV. Not going to say why, but I was watching them during the week, allegedly. But
why are you watching? I don't even know. Are you trying to poach someone over there?
Nah, but
trying to punch a quarterback or a running back or a coach or something?
Nah, I'm watching because I've had some money on the boys.
But is that right?
But
all right. Well, Steve wrote this: if Sam Houston can win this game and win next week against Liberty, this will make Jacksonville State, Sam Houston State, and Western Kentucky all 1-loss teams. This means that Western Kentucky's last game of the season against Jacksonville State, pending if they beat Liberty this week, would essentially determine who would face Sam Houston State in the conference championship.
Hey, I mean, Liberty, who did they lose to? They see, damn, Liberty was considered a group of 5 contender. This conference is kind of dog water. I'm not gonna lie. Like I was watching Kennesaw State and Montana State play one, or Middle Tennessee play.
Well, you all had to say it's Kennesaw State. We knew that was out the window. They won one game in the past 15 years.
No, they were good. They literally got moved up. They were good because they got moved up.
No, they've only won one game this season. That's why I said that.
Oh well, yeah, but that's not their fault. It's their first year. It's up. Delaware is also going to be that new team next year in the FBS. Just a little heads up. Yeah, they've only won one game.
Yeah, I think so.
They beat They beat UTEP, but no, I don't know who they beat. Someone
they beat, yeah.
But regardless, this besides the point. I'm just saying, like they're solid, bro. I think they're a lot better than people think. This like conference, I guess, like Sam Houston, Jacksonville State, Liberty, Western Kentucky, the Hilltoppers. Is an interesting game. I don't think it's going to matter much in terms of the playoff race, but maybe in the future. I don't know how they're going to. I don't know what kind of tie-ins the group of 5 will get if they expand the playoffs to 14 and 16 teams. Do they make it two teams for if it's 16? 2 group of 5 teams have to make it. I don't know. But all in all, I do think it's an interesting game, and I mean, it's an important game in college football. It is. I mean, this is a game to potentially win the conference. So, got to be on the underrated games. It's at 11, so this game might be on like ESPNU or something. But
let's see, 11 o'clock. It is at CBS Sports Network.
Oh, that channel. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know that channel.
Yeah. Same.
I know that channel. Man, yeah, it was another episode in the books, man. We're getting down to the wire, to the thick of things. This is the point where I was last season, where you got to start preying on people's downfalls, and we control our own destiny right now. So I guess I can't prey on people's downfall yet. But me personally, I'm already praying. I'm praying.
He already praying. He worried. Y'all see it. Y'all see it right now.
Praying. You know, it would just be a Texas thing. That's all I'm gonna say. It would be something that Texas would do. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, it would be.
I know it doesn't feel nice, but does it feel nice, like, not to have to stress about this situation, or would you rather stress about this situation?
Man, I'm stressing absolutely. We play with Oklahoma. We got to compete for championships year in and year out, and if that's the SEC or if that's just making it to the playoff and getting in the dance every year, that's the expectation. So fuck no, I would much rather be in your shoes than what we're going through. I mean, shit, we just got to make it. I just want to make it to the fucking
bowl. You want to go bowling?
Tax Slayer Bowl or whatever the fuck bowl we'd get. So I just want to go bowling, get that extra practice.
What if y'all played Texas State?
They'd get smacked.
Who would you go for?
What kind of question is that? I'm going for Oklahoma.
Hey, man, we got some Texas State people on the podcast before, man. You know what I'm saying?
It'd be hilarious if we made a bowl and played Baylor. That'd be funny. But
y'all would win. No, y'all would
win. They wouldn't move the ball. They didn't move the ball, but they would get shut down. Like I think people like Steve need to realize.
Steve enters the chat.
People like Steve need to realize the level of talent, especially defensively in the SEC. Like it's night and day.
Steve does think there's more than 2 conferences.
Like Kentucky would go into the Big 12 right now and throw people around. Mississippi State would go in there and be a contender. I'm just saying they would. I mean, we just seen Mississippi State play Vanderbilt and Tennessee and Georgia tough.
And A&M.
Yeah. I mean, even Texas for a degree of the game. Like, yeah. I'm just saying, like,
I think that A&M game came down to the wire.
Yeah, like these teams would go in there, I mean, and dominate. I mean, Oklahoma and Texas last year, outside of some fluky calls against us in some games, we ran the conference
Oklahoma
last year.
State.
Yeah, man. Sorry asses. I mean, Colorado with two players, really. I mean, their team's talented, but Colorado with the most talented players are handling their competition right now in the conference.
Yeah. Beat Baylor on a Hail Mary.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
but outside of that,
you think if they met, it could be possible. I don't know how it's all going to work out.
We got you against Baylor. Yeah.
That's what it is. A yawn fest for you? It's that easy of a game?
No. I think we'd be fine. Now we probably have some opt outs in that game, so I don't know. I don't think Danny and Billy would play, nor should they. But our depth is ridiculous on the defensive side of the football, and who knows?
OU 28, Baylor 14.
I'm not going to talk about that. You're not getting me.
You said you would win and they wouldn't move the ball. So that's all I'm asking.
I backtracked on that. They would move the ball,
but only a little bit.
I'm just saying the talent level, especially the defenses that the Big 12 sees, is this. Okay. That's why they have to run these gimmicky ass offenses, because they can't match up. That's why they have to run the offenses they have. Okay. So
all righty. Well, this was a little bit longer episode. We're getting to the wire, so the scenarios are going to be talked about. Things have to be said and whatnot. So I Steve, I already know you're going to mention something in the comments or text us individually about Cam's comment just now. But I'm gonna go on his side. I do think OU would win. But all the other games we talked about, or if you have any other scenarios, or if you want to comment on my top 12, that in my opinion is the best 12 teams in the nation, go ahead. But we'll catch y'all guys next time for another episode of 54 Yards. Cam, you have any last words?
No, that's it. Appreciate you guys. I'm gonna have timestamps for this episode. As we've been recording, I've been able to look at the time. So I've been as soon as we start something, I would write down the first one and then the next where we end at. So I think that'll help you guys, and it'll help us too as well.
Alrighty. That'll do it from the boys over here at 54 Yards. We'll catch y'all guys next time. Hook 'em.
Boomer.